If you are here for this video based off of the title and thumbnail that you saw and are interested to see what I'm going to say about this, then I'll guarantee you that you will not be disappointed. Now, we hear this a lot about in our world these days about how not to give a fuck about anything. And we see these people and we really admire them, We come across nowadays sometimes some people that seem to be unfazed because of anything. Like you could literally sit in front of them and shower them with, praises or even insult them to their face, but they still seem to have that cool, calm, collected expression on their face, and it doesn't seem to faze them at all. Now, there are two types of people that can do that. The first ones are the really successful ones, obviously, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. The second types are the wannabes. Now, who are these wannabes? These wannabes are the ones that, go back, sit on their couch, eat and drink to their heart's merry. They don't really care about their health or their physical appearance, but then they want to be accepted for who they are. So they say, well, I would still like to be accepted for how I look or who I am because this is me, and if someone can't accept me, then it's their loss, or I don't give a fuck. And then they find their friend, probably who's got into a sports team, or someone who became a model just because they got fit, and complain about that, saying that I should have gotten that. Now, these wannabes, they really are people that they probably don't give a fuck about anything, but they think that being that means being rebellious, and they rebel about anything and everything around them, right? And that's why you sometimes see these people who just don't care and just seem to be in their own world, and we seem to think that they're cool too at times, but I can guarantee you that you don't want to be that. In reality, you cannot not give a fuck about everything. Like, we are human beings. Chances are that you will care about a few things in life more than the others. You will care about what people think about you. People's opinion is going to matter to you. So it's not really true, or it's not really a fact that you can get to this stage. But then there are successful people that seem to be able to do that really well. So let's break that down a bit. What do these successful people do? There are a few things that they do really well. Now, these successful people have got a few values, like maybe 4 or 5. They don't have a list of 100 values, maybe 4 or 5 values that are really close to them from the time that they were born and grew up, from childhood, right? And based on those values, they've given themselves some goals, and they work really hard throughout their lives to achieve those goals. They work day in and day out in order to make sure that they get to the goal that they've given themselves based on those 4 or 5 values that are close to their heart. Now, it is a long, painful journey in most cases. They learn from their failures, but at the end they gain a lot of knowledge. And then when they get to the pinnacle of their success, when they're really, really successful, they get into that Zen mode, or that Sigma or Alpha mode, where then they don't really give a fuck about anything, especially about your opinion on things that they are successful at, because they've really worked hard to get to where they are, and they're really successful at it. And so if you've got an opinion that is maybe negative, it really doesn't matter to them. Like, say for example, what if you were to go walk up to the prime minister or the president of the country and tell them how to run the country? What do you think their response is going to be? Chances are they're not going to give a fuck. Now, it's a different thing if you've got an opinion about about yourself, if you've got a request, if you've got an opinion of how the country can be better. But if you've got an opinion about how they are doing their job and how they can do their job better, chances are they're not going to take it. They've worked really hard to get to that position, years of experience, years of hard work, and nobody comes up to them and tries to teach them about, a job that they've been doing for years. They're obviously not going to care. Now, another thing that they really do well, these successful people, is, let's say you have an opinion about things that really matter to them, but they cannot control it. Then they don't care about it. But if you've got an opinion about something that matters to them, but they can control it, then they go all out in trying to achieve it. And I'll give you an example. So let's say looking good or being physically attractive means a lot to you. Like, that's one of the values. It matters to you on how you look and how people perceive you, right? So let's say that's one of the things that really matters to you. Now, in your journey in trying to get more physically attractive, let's say if someone walks up to you and says, you know what, if you were 6 feet tall, maybe you would be more physically attractive. Obviously, no one in the world can do anything about getting taller or deciding exactly how tall they're gonna grow up to be. So, in which case, you're not gonna give a fuck about their opinion in that sense. But at the same time, if someone else walks up to you and says, you know what, maybe getting a six-pack would really make you look attractive. Now you know you can do something about that. Getting a six-pack is difficult. It's really, really long, drawn, hard process, but it's possible. And you know you can control it in many ways. Now, in that case, you should not just give a fuck. Maybe you should give 2 fucks about that, because that's something that really matters to you. It's an opinion, maybe an advice, and that's something that you can control. And so you should go all out in trying to achieve that and get to where you want to be and end up achieving that goal that you've given yourself. So these successful people look at it and divide it in these 2 categories as well, where they look at what they can control and what they cannot control. What they cannot control really doesn't matter. And the things that don't really matter to them at all, well, they don't give a fuck about that either. In my opinion, that's exactly how you should learn how not to give a fuck about anything. Being rebellious seems to be the only answer for the youth these days, right? Hey, being rebellious seems to be the cool thing to do. Like, if I'm being rebellious, people think I'm cool about it. If I don't care about something, people think I'm really cool. That's not really true. Chances are that deep down, I'm probably as much broken or maybe more broken than someone else around me. Right? And I'm just trying to put this mask in front of me to try and cover my insecurities. The real way to be that uber cool person that really doesn't give a fuck about things is by being successful. So remember, rebellion is not the answer, but success definitely is the answer. So I make videos on personal growth and personal finance. So if you like these videos and this content, please like, please subscribe. And as I always keep saying, race only against yourself, because then you will always win. See you in the next video.